there still is me'ilah. In normal cases, once the mitzvah is performed, there's no more me'ilah. The Gemara now asks, when we were talking about the blood, we said that there's no me'ilah by the blood. Why? Because it says it is given to you. We said that it's a kapara. It's given to you only for kapara, not for me'ilah. We also says it is. Who? So lachem, lechaper, in who? The who teaches me that just like it is after it's been sprinkled, that's how it is before. There's no me'ilah by the blood. Tlasek kroi lamali b'dam. Why do I need 3 exclusions for the blood to tell me there's no me'ilah? It says chad lamutim inaisar. One is to tell me that there's no naisa there as well. That if the blood is left over, and someone eats the blood, he's chayiv for eating blood, but he's not chayiv for eating naisa. Chad lamutim me'ilah. One tells me that there's no me'ilah. And v'chad lamutim mituma. And if someone eats it, one, he's tamei, so he's only chayiv for eating blood. He's not chayiv for eating it, for it being tamei. Aval mi pigel le'tzarch, but I don't need a pasuk to exclude it from pigel. Why? Pigel is if the thoughts it's going to be sprinkled in the wrong time. The Tanan, because we're taught in the Mishnah, kol sheish l'matir, and anything that is permitted by something else. That means, for example, the animal of the karban, that gets permitted by the sprinkling of the blood. So there's me'ilah on the animal, but there's no me'ilah on the blood. Why? Kol sheish l'matir and bein la'adam bein l'mazbeach chayavan alav mishum pigel. On those things, yechai mishum pigel. However, dam gufei materhu, but the blood is the permitter. So we don't say that there's me'ilah on the permitter. We only say there's me'ilah on those things that get permitted by the blood. It means we'll return to you chapter Kalabasa, which is the 8th chapter, up to the 9th chapter now. Or the skin, v'hareitev, the gravy, v'akifa, the spices, v'alal, the residue that's left in the pot, v'atzamis, the bones, agidin is the tendons, v'kanayim, the horns, it's the base of the horns, v'atlafayim, and the hooves, mitzdarfen l'tamit tumasaychlim. They all combine to the meat on the animal to make it into the size of an egg, to transmit tumah to something else. In other words, food could become tumah if it touches a sheretz, or if someone impure touches food. Now, but it needs to be a certain size to transmit this tumah over. If the food isn't the full size, but it's attached to the skin, there's gravy there, or there's all of these things that are there, it will combine together with this to make it into the size of an egg. Avaloi tumas nevelas. Tumas nevela means if the animal died, then it gives off an impurity. It died without shchita. How much of the animal will give off impurity? It needs to be a kazayas. It's less in amount. It's a more strict impurity, but it's less of an amount. It's so strict in 2 ways. It's a less of a size, and it's a stricter impurity. Now, but the only thing is that if I don't have a kazayas, I can't use the skin to make it into the size of a kazayas to give off the impurity of a nevela. So there's one leniency there, that these other items don't combine to it to be considered nevela. Similarly, if someone shechs an animal, is it kiyetzibai part of the last piece?
No. Well, here it goes. How you read it?
Similarly?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone shechs a non-kosher animal. Very interesting. He takes a camel, he shechs it for a guy, and the animal is still convulsing. So it didn't die yet. So it's already considered food. Now, we know that it's considered food by a Jew. But here, it's a Jew shechting it for a non-Jew, and it's not even a kosher animal. Nevertheless, we know for a non-Jew that's not considered food. So it's not considered food. But in this case, it's going to be considered food. Now, there's 4 criteria that make this. The first is that it needs to be a Jew that's shechting. It can't be a guy that's shechting. It needs to be that it's being shechted. It can't be that it's being killed. It needs to be that it's a non-kosher animal for this to be a chiddush. And it also needs to be that you're shechting for a non-Jew for this to be a chiddush. Okay. Avalei tumas nevelas ad shetamas, but it doesn't become a nevela until it really dies. Oh yeah, actually yatas is or until you remove the entire head. Then it's considered a gistra, a broken vessel. It's considered dead, even if it's convulsive. Riba letami tumas eichlin mimash riba letami tumas nevelas. There's more things that are tami tumas eichlin than from tumas nevela. Rabbi Yehuda says ha'olol, that we said the residue of the pot hamachunas im yesh be'kazayis makam echad chayav alav. That if there is a kazayas in one place, so it's considered nevela as well, even though we said that doesn't combine, but Rabbi Yehuda holds that it does. Tanina lahad tana rabbanan. Our Mishnah teaches what the rabbis taught in a brisa. Shaimrim l'tuma kala v'le shaimrim l'tuma chamura. These items that we listed in the Mishnah, that the skin, even though the skin is not food, the skin is considered a protection for the food. And the protection for the food combines to be considered the food for tumah kala. Tumah kala means for tumah of food tumah, but not tumas nevelas, but not tumah chamura. Shaimel tumah kala minalan. Where do we see this? That you can use a shaimer to combine this to be part of the food, but for tumah kala, for light types of tumah. The Tana de Be Rabbi Shmuel was taught in the house of Rabbi Shmuel, al kol zera zerua, on all the seed that's planted. Kederach shebnei adam mitzion lezriya, just like a person plants seed. Chita bikli pasa, ser bikli pasa, vadasam bikli pasan. When you plant wheat, when you plant barley, when you plant beans, you plant it with the seed, with the covering of the seed. The seed, if you would grind it, it would come off, right? But you're putting the whole seed in the ground and it's growing. That means that entire seed, even with the shell, that may not be a shell, even with the peel that's around it, that's also considered part of the seed. But where do we know that this doesn't combine for the more strict tumah? It was taught in the Brisa, Tana Rabbanan b'nevlasa v'lei ba'or she'ein aleh kazayis baser. B'nevlasa, in its carcass, but that's only that the carcass gives off the tumah, but not the skin of the carcass. If you don't have a kazayas of meat on it. I could have thought that maybe if you touch the backside of the other side of the meat, which means the hide, that you touch the skin side, maybe you're not going to be tamei. Talmud Lema Yitma. No, you do become tamei even if you touch the skin. Now, this was a little confusing because we said the skin doesn't give off the tumah. Now we just said the skin does give off the tumah. So it says, "My kamar." What does this mean? Amar Rava v'Amir la Kidi. Rava says, and some say that it was said by Kidi. Kidi is either either means anonymously, or there was a sage that was called Kidi. Rashi and Gittin says it was a sage called Kidi. It's missing a little piece, and this is how it should be read. Binivlasa, the animal in its carcass gives off a tumah. V'loy ba'ar she'ein alav kazayis basar, but not with skin that doesn't have on it a kazayis of meat. It needs to be v'or mashlima lekazayis, and together with the skin, it creates a kazayis. That doesn't work. Yachal shani moitziaf or sheishlav kazayis basar. Maybe I'm also going to exclude even if there is a kazayis basar on it, but you don't touch the basar, you touch the or. Hanageh keneged basar ma'acherev yachal tamei. If you touch the skin, maybe you won't become tamei. Va'filu ma'aseh yad nami le'yavid. It's not even considered like a handle to the tumah. Maybe I should say that. Talmud Lemer Yitma. No, it's considered a handle, but it's not considered part of the thing itself to make it into the shear. So what we've learned here regarding this is that there's a stringency in the lesser tumah of tumas eichlin, where it contracts tumah from something else, that I can use the protections, or these other items, the skin and other things, to make the shear of a kabeya. But in the strict sort of tumah, which is tumas nevela, where the thing itself is tamei because it died without shchita, and I don't have a kazayas, I can't use the skin to make it into a kazayas. Nevertheless, it could be used, even though it can't be, the skin doesn't make it into kazayas, but the skin is still a handle, that if there is a kazayas and you touch the skin, you'll become tamei from the meat that's attached to it. Okay, let's stop over here.